Sports. It's in the game.
Welcome, everybody. It is Championship Day and the final UFRL race of the season in the Inter tier. Hopefully, A very spicy one about to come up. There are two drivers level on points, level on race wins. I'm sure it's going to be very interesting. Just waiting for a few more drivers to turn up. I believe maybe one or two. Then we'll be on our way for short qualifying here at Monza. Look at 11 drivers what we're going to have for today. That's not a problem at all because in the Inter tier, they have entertainers with 11 drivers most times all season. See what's going to happen this time in the final race of the season. That's 12 drivers now. Hopefully more to come. Hello to everybody in the chat. Hopefully more people can tune in to watch this race. It's going to be a good one. A really good one. For a championship race to be at Monza. It's going to be a really good one. Okay, everyone are ready up now, I believe. So we can start. I don't know the meaning, I just know the feeling. Who's going to be the first to come out? It's usually Angry Badger. We'll see if he's going to be the first again this time. I think it's been like 4 races now. 4 races straight that he's been the first to come out. So, why not guess? Angry Badger first to come out in qualifying. If it's someone else, then it's going to be an interesting one. It's him. It's him again. It's going to be the Aston Martin, the teammate of our championship contender, Angry Badger. It's going to be the first to come out and put in a lap. It's going to be followed by the Alfa Romeo of Mr. Poem, I believe. Or Alfa Romeo of Shadow, which is great. Few top drivers here. Like, I believe there are about 5 or 6 tier 1 or tier 1 quality drivers here. You do have Parkour, Mr. Poem, Shadow, Murk, CPI Mateus, and Destroyer Drag. All tier 1 quality drivers. But we'll see, as Dog is on the intertide, probably maybe he does have a qualifying ban. That's why he's on those tires. But the first man we are going to follow is going to be the Aston Martin of Angry Badger, who has just been overtaken by the Alfa Romeo. So the Alfa Romeo might be the first man to put in a lap. So we'll watch as it goes. Shadow now just getting into Ascari. And see what time he can set for the rest of the drivers to go out and beat. Last time around, when we were at, I believe we were at Singapore for the last intertier race. No, actually, Abu Dhabi. Last time around at Abu Dhabi, Murk did finish ahead of Mr. P. But they are level on points today because Mr. P did get that fastest lap. They are level on points today, going to the final race, coming into the final race of the season. Level on race wins too. And we'll see what they can get. Murk did start on pole position last race, and Mr. P started, I believe, P6. So he would want to improve this time around against his championship contender, not wanting to start that far back. It didn't affect him that much, really, but it's something that he will want to improve on. And here we go now to Shadow, who goes a little bit wide there, but doesn't invalidate his time. He's still on a fast lap. We'll see what the Alfa Romeo can do. The current teammate of our other championship contender, Mr. P, heading to Ascari now, and the second sector is a 53.4 from him. And what can Andy Badger get? Can he go faster than that when he crosses that? No, he's not. 54.3 for Angry Badger, not faster, and he validates his time. That will be the end for that fast lap for the Aston Martin. But here we go now in the Alfa Romeo. Shadow getting out of the Parabolica and crossing the start-finish line. What time is he going to say? Is he going to go into the pits? No, he's not. He's going to finish his time and crossing the line. It's a 120.2 for the Alfa Romeo. The Haas is going to be next to cross the line. It's Parkour in the Haas, and she goes pole position. 120.0 for the Haas driver, who now has set the time for the rest of the drivers to go beat 2/10 faster than the Alfa Romeo in P2. And next to cross the line is going to be the McLaren, who is currently on and out like CPI Mateus, one of the drivers that you expect to get the win today, and we'll see how he does first off in qualifying. The other Haas driver who is out right now, and it's Coffee, who is on a lap heading down to Parabolica. What is Coffee going to set? His teammate already on provisional pole position, and he would like to emulate that, or maybe somewhere close to that, as he's about to cross the start finish line. And what time is he going to set in that Haas here at Monza? It is a 121.1 for Coffee, and he's going to stay in P4 as Destroyer Drag crosses the line for the 120.6, puts himself in P3. Parkour is one driver who has significantly improved this season from the start of the season. She was a driver who was mostly running at the back in most races, but now knows how to run in front, knows how to win races, as she did win in the 100% tier as Murk grabbed the championship yesterday. But she did win the race and can't get a win here today if she starts on pole position that she currently sits on. The Alfa Romeo driver, Mr. Prem, our championship contender, a driver who's level on points with Murk. Two drivers about to make history today. One of them, and only one of them, has the opportunity to be a two-time champion in one season. But which driver is going to have their head held up high, and which other driver is going to be absolutely gutted at the end of the race today? Hello, Mrs. P. It's good to see you on track. I know who you're obviously going for. Obviously going to be your hubby, Mr. P. See if he can bring 2 titles in one season back. Or is Murk going to be disappoint the Alfa Romeo driver today? Who is it? Is that actually his home Grand Prix Alfa Romeo? They're an Italian outfit. And we'll see if he can bring the title in front of the Tifosi. A feat that he would love to have. And we'll see what happens for him as Destroyer Drag now going into the pits. He has set his lap and currently sitting in P3. Mr. P already with the fastest first sector, and we'll see what he can do. Can he put himself on provisional pole position where he will want to be for the start of this Grand Prix? Starting in front of Murk will be very key for him as he's in the second sector now. Heading down towards Ascari. Needs to be nice and clean from him. It has been a 53. That's been the fastest here. Can he get a 53? Yes, a 53 for him and the fastest second sector. One more sector to go, and what can he set? Can he go into the 119s? The first driver into the 119s as he heads down the Parabolica to the Parabolica, which is red and black Alfa Romeo. The Tifosi watching him coming out of the final corner and about to cross the start finish line. What time is he going to set? Is he going to provisional pole for Mr. Poem? Yes, it is. It's 119.796 for the Alfa Romeo, and now he is right on top. Murk will want to beat that time as Mr. Poem goes deep to let the Aston Martin, who is currently, I believe, on the time, he's championship contender actually, coming out of the pit and should be starting his lap at the end of this outlap. As Stickman goes P7 or 124.3, good time for him with Percy Perez 122.1 going into P6. More drivers now yet to set time. Doug, Viva, Murk, CPI Mateos and Aguibar. CPI Mateos actually out of qualifying, has retired from qualifying and will be starting at the back, accompanying Doug, who also hasn't put in a lap yet. As Murk and Viva now just trying to set up for their own laps, and we'll see what time. There we go now. Viva and Murk, the only two drivers who haven't set the time, and Angry Badger, the first driver who actually came out on track, and he's on his fast lap right now, and we'll see what he can get this time. Teammate of Murk, who has done a good job for his teammate to gather enough points for Aston Martin in the Inter-Tier Championship. What can he do on the final race today? Can he finish on the podium? What Angry Badger will be looking for. He has yet to finish on the podium in the Inter-Tier, and we'll be looking for that today as he goes with the fastest first sector. And what can he do now in the second sector? Good first sector for Angry Badger. He needs a 53 to be quick enough to put himself in provisional pole position in the second sector. And here we go now, down to Ascari, about to cross the second sector line, the start of the third sector. And what time is he going to set? It's going to be a 53-54 flat for the Aston Martin. He will need to improve on that time if he wants to get that provisional pole position, or maybe it's just going to be a top 3 start for the Aston Martin. But that will be good enough for Angry Badger as UFRL Shadow and Coffee are about to start their own laps. Back to the Aston Martin now, coming out of the Parabolica. What time is he going to set? Currently sits in P12 and surely will be improving on that position. But where is he going to go to? His P5 for Angry Badger is a 120.8. Not a bad time at all for the Aston Martin, and he currently sits in P5. The Haas driver is going to be next to cross the line. It is Parkour in the Haas, and can she improve on that time that she has set for 120.0? Can she get into the 119s? And that's what she will need if she wants to beat the time that Mr. P has set. Our championship contender, our championship leader Murk, now has crossed the line with a 121.7 and surely can improve on that time, and we'll see what he does when he finishes his next fast lap. Back to the Alpine now of Viva, who has been warming up his tires. This is his qualifying strategy. He usually does a few laps round the track before going for his final push lap, and this right here might just be his final push lap, but his ERS isn't going down, so I am not too sure that he's ready yet to go on that lap. The Haas driver of Coffee has invalidated his time, so he will surely have to go into the pits. Yes, he is going into the pits. Then the Alfa Romeo driver of UFRL Shadow also going into the pits. He believes his time is not fast enough to improve. Then he's going to be Angry Badger in P5, who will also be going into pits, as most drivers now have set a time. Only TPI Mateos and Dog who can't set a time yet because they have retired from qualifying. Mr. P, our championship leader, currently still sitting in provisional pole, and which driver can knock him off that as we speak. As Murk now goes P2 with a 119.9 for the Aston Martin, just 2/10 or 1/10 and a half actually, right behind his championship contender. It's a place he would like to be in the start of this race, just right beside his championship contender. So they start right at the front and battle it out to the end. A good time from him, and Viva is going to be next to cross the line now, and surely will be improving on his time, but though he's still high on that ARS, so it surely isn't on a push lap. He did improve by 3/10, but he's currently still sitting in P9 right in front of his teammate Stickman. Then the Mercedes of Prezi Perez, who's currently on a fast lap now. He is with P8 with a 122.1. We'll see if that Mercedes Petronas driver can improve on the time that he has currently set. It's going to be the Alfa Romeo of Mr. P to set his next lap before his championship contender, who is right behind him and surely will be going into the pits now. Or what can Mr. P do? He will have two more opportunities to set a lap, this one and the next one that he will come out for. But will Murk have another opportunity to set a lap if he goes into the pits now? Will he have two more opportunities or just one more? But back to Mr. Poem now, who I believe should be still on an outlap, still trying to burn enough fuel to be as light as possible, to get us time as quick as possible, so that he can make sure that time surely wouldn't be beat, as Viva now isn't on a lap because he's still high on that ERS, and we'll see when he's finally ready to go on that push lap. Prezi Perez though is on the lap and is right behind Viva, using a little bit of that slipstream, getting into the parabolica now. And what will the Mercedes set when he crosses the line? As he crosses the line now, Prezi Perez is improved by almost a second, and he's going to be P8 or 121.1 for Prezi Perez. Let me see. P in the chat says I'm unbiased. What do you think? I think it's going to be a tough one. It is Monza. Overtakes can be made, so it's not a difficult one to actually make overtakes. It's actually quite. It's not that hard to get past the driver. He's not. Every time you see yourself stuck behind the driver at Monza, unless you're in the DRS train. But we'll see what's going to happen here. It's going to be down to luck and down to pure grit for our championship winner today. But Mr. P, who is looking like he's dropping the fastest times here, might just be your winner of the championship if he does have more pace than Murk in the race. He just might come home with the win. FIFA tonight? Probably yes. Definitely. I haven't played that in a long time. As Mr. P now crossing the line to start a lap. And can he improve on that time? We surely want to be improving on that time, because he will want to start on pole position when the race begins. With 4 minutes to go in qualifying, does Murk have another opportunity to improve on the time that he has set? Viva though going into the pits after doing 4 to 5 laps on those tires, longest stint on those tires on soft tires in qualifying yet. As Parkour now just the fastest second sector, and she's one driver who is questioning the drivers in front. He's putting pressure on them and is looking like could beat them here in qualifying. Getting to the parabolica now, the Haas driver, and when she crosses the start finish line, what time is she going to set? As she actually goes into the pit, it's a 120.0 for her. She's currently sitting in P3. She can improve enough to beat the other drivers, as Coffee now does improve by 8/10 and puts himself in P5 with a 120.3. Only 2 drivers in the 119 now, as the Alfa Romeo duo are on the back straight. With Mr. Poem now coming out of the final corner, will he improve on his time? Will it make it a more difficult task for Murk to beat the time that he has set? Crossing the start finish line now, he is going to improve on his time. It's 119.6 for the Alfa Romeo, as his teammates crosses the line to begin his own lap. The Alfa Romeo driver has put one hand on pole position here today, and Murk is one driver who will be trying to beat that time, a time that will be a tough one to beat, as the drivers are coming out now for their final push laps of the session. Destroyer Drag about to start his one, and Angry Badger, the first driver always to come out in qualifying, will need to improve on this time if he wants to get a better time, better place than P7. Not a bad lap from him with a 120.8, but he can improve on the time, he believes. Down to the Haas now, who surely should be going into the pit, and that will be that for Coffee. He's run out of fuel, and he will be starting P5 if any other driver doesn't have a say about it. Angry Badger now about to start his lap, and we'll see what he does when he crosses the start-finish line. And he get a better time that he currently sits on, as the Haas driver will be going into the pits, and the Alfa Romeo driver of Shadow on his final push lap of the session, currently sitting in P4. Can he beat the time that his teammate has set in front? He has pulled out of his last 2 laps, but it's 1 more lap to go, and yes, he does. It's a 119.4. It's an Alfa Romeo 1-2 here at qualifying, as Shadow puts himself on pole position. Mr. P will be going into the pits. That will be the end of his qualifying. He will be starting on the front row of the grid, but it's not going to be the fastest lap in qualifying. It's not going to be that extra point that Mr. P is looking for, as his teammate has knocked him off down into P2. As Destroyer Drag now crossing the line, can he now knock Shadow off that provisional pole position? As he crosses the line, he does knock an Alfa Romeo down from his position, but it's Mr. P who's now dropped down into P3, as Shadow now is going to split the Alfa Romeos. The next driver to cross the line is going to be Viva to start his lap. Then down to the Aston Martin drivers of Murk, who is starting the lap, and Angry Badger, who is finishing his own lap. Can he improve on his time? Currently sitting in P7. As the Aston Martin driver crosses the line, he does not improve on his time. He's 6 thousandths of a second down on his fastest time, and he's going to start P7 here if any other driver doesn't have a say about that. The Alfa Romeo driver now of Shadow will be going into the pits, and he will be starting on pole position if any other driver can't knock him off the time that he has set of a 119.4. 4 drivers into the 119s now, and can any other driver jump into that time, as the Alfa Romeo will be going into the pits? That extra point that his teammate need, the championship contender need, has now been taken away by him and also Destroyer Drag. So it's not that painful for Mr. P, because it's not only his teammate, but as Parkour was trying to improve on her time, makes a mistake going into a Scary, almost loses it and goes into the wall, but catches his car, but surely would not be improving on her time and will be going into the pits here. And would that be that for Parkour? Will she be improving on her time when she crosses the line? She does improve on her time, as she puts herself P4, knocks down Murk down to P5, but now he's on the final lap, gets the slipstream from his teammate down to Parabolica. He's getting the opportunity, he's getting the advantage, and can he put his car on pole position and get that extra point, put one hand on the championship? As Murk crosses the line now, he goes P3 just in front of Mr. Prem, and they are going to be on the same row of the grid when the race starts, and that is a great time from Murk, a time that has beat his championship contender, but not the extra point that we want starting on pole position. But there you go, the Alfa Romeo of UFRL Shadow is going to be a pole sitter here today, and a stunning qualifying in Monza, as drivers were putting in time. Unfortunate mistake from Parkour. She could have improved way more than that going into Ascari and probably put herself into top 2. But that is Formula 1. It's to the edge, and any slight mistake you make will make a good lap come to nothing. And there you go now. Shadow will start on top with Destroyer Drag in P2, and the 2 championship contenders on the second row of the grid in P3 and P4. Parkour will start in P5. Coffee will start the race in P6. Angry Badger right behind him, behind Parkour in P7 with Prez right beside Angry Badger. We have Viva and Viva in the Alpine with Stickman right beside each other in the 5th row of the grid. Then starting last is going to be Doug and Mateus, who didn't set times in qualifying. We're going to have a 5-minute break before we have our championship race here in Monza. A race that hopefully is going to be a very, very exciting one. And we'll see what happens. Ooh, 610 on Scary bottled it. Very, very unlucky. Surely that would have given you the pole position. But that is racing. That is Formula 1. It's on the edge. With 5 minutes to go, we are going to start the race. And we will be right back. Thank you for the follow, WSC Hedrick. Thank you for the follow, and hopefully it's an entertaining race for you to watch. Spread the link, spread the news, people. Ask people on chat to come watch the race. It's the final race of the UFRL season. Expect more people to watch the race. Drivers, tune in. Let's get the viewers up. But here we go now. It's now the final race of the season. Championship race. And the end of the season has come. The final race in UFRL Season 5. And a brilliant season in the inter-tier. It's now round 12. The last showdown of green versus red. A grid that has entertained us all season, but two drivers who have the opportunity to clinch the title today. Level on points, level on race wins. They have got it all, but this season they've got it all season, but now it's their opportunity to write their own stories. As we come here to Monza, and what a track to finish it all off. In front of the Tifosi, in a legendary track that is nothing better you could ask for. In this 3-mile 11 corner track, 6 to the left, 5 to the right, with 2 DRS zones, 1 down to turn 1, where we'll see most of the overtakes today, and another down to Ascari, where we will see who will be the bravest to go down the inside or round the outside, going into that fast left-hander. Who is going to stand on top today? Who is going to finish ahead of the other? Who is going to grab their second title of the season? That we don't know, but that we are eager to see. And when the drivers do ready up, We will see what race strategies that they are going for. Murk and Mr. P starting on the same row on the grid. It's surely going to be a spicy one. Hopefully, they do not come together. Hopefully, the two championship protagonists do not take each other out going into turn one like Max and Lewis Hamilton did a few years back. Hopefully, it's a clean one right to the end, and the rightful champion will be crowned today. Anytime now, we should be jumping on the grid to meet the drivers and to start the race. It is 5:36 now, 5:37. So they should have read it up. It'd be nice if they gave us a timer to the start of the race. That would be a good feature to add for the spectators, so we know exactly when it's going to start. It's usually just at random and the lights are already going off. Mr. P and Murk, two drivers who have fought hard this season but haven't come together, haven't really had any incidents, showing you how it is done, how to win a championship. You do not need to have incidents with your driver, as we are 2 lights now, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights ahead of the drivers. And his foot to the floor and go. The AlphaTauri with a great start. He's already side by side now with the pole sitter heading down to turn one. Destroyer drag. Is he going to keep the lead, or can Shadow hold it round the outside? They make slight bits of contact and he drifts Destroyer by a little bit wide. But on those medium tires, he has the grip, he has the traction to get ahead of the pole sitter. And Destroyer drag is going to be leading this race. But Murk now has dropped to the back. In an incident, the championship contender going into turn one has dropped to the back. It looks like him and Coffee have come together now as a 5-second penalty, as two drivers making contact. CPI Mateos and Dog in the Mercedes coming into each other, going down to chicane as Angry Badger now. Or is that Murk? At the back, yellow flags at the back for Aston Martin. It's for Angry Badger, not the championship leader again. But Shadow now has taken the lead from Destroyer Drag, has gotten ahead of him. And that is the strategy there that the drivers could pull off. But this is what Mr. Pom will have wanted, as his championship contender now has been compromised in this race. And he can pull away. But here we go now. Viva making a move down the inside on Viva, going into the Parabolica, as CPI Mateos has made a lot of places now. His driver who started at the back already in P7, Viva 4/10 now behind Parkour. Is he going to get that move back on the Haas driver, who's slightly pulling away, and he might not be close enough to get the move on? But CPI Mateos 4/10 behind Doug, and is also too far back to go for a dangerous dive going into turn one. But in lap 2 of the race, it's already been chaos, and we've already had few drivers who have been forced into the pit because of damage. And our championship contender, our championship protagonist, UFRL Murk, has been compromised in this race, and that is not what he will need right at the start. To the front now with Destroyer Drag, hunting down the soft tire runner of UFRL Shadow, and we'll see what he can do. Right behind the Alfa Romeo, he will want to get in front when his tires start to get better than the soft runner in front. And we'll see what happens. Mr. P on those hard tires, doing well to defend from Parkour behind. But we'll see what he can do. Can he hold those medium tires behind, or is he just going to let her go and use that DRS to try and catch the drivers in front? This has been a good start here. CPI Mateos 8/10 behind Doug. Doug doing well to pull away from a quick driver of CPI Mateos, as Parkour now 1/10 behind Mr. P. They wouldn't want to come together, but she's still going to race him hard. She's going to choose a side. She's going to go to the right. They're going to be side by side now, heading down to turn one. It's a drag race as they head to turn one. Is she going to get the move done? Is she going to break later? Yes, she does. And she puts herself up into P3. This is what Mr. P will be looking for, because he can just stick behind the slipstream and use that DRS to catch the rest of the drivers in front. CPI Mateos though, 3/10 behind Doug. Is he going to use that ERS? going down to the chicane, or is he going to hold it back and maybe make the move going down to Askari, or wait for the DRS? As back to the front now, Destroyer Drag 7/10 behind Shadow, doing well to keep in that DRS zone of the Alfa Romeo, and he's going to have that DRS now to stay behind. Can he get that move done? We're going to stick with him. No, too far back. Parkour far enough to Mr. P, or she. Mr. P switches to the left on those hard tires. He's going to go for the move. He wants to be in front. He doesn't want to be behind the fast-going Haas driver, and that's the strategy he decides to go for. Well, here we go. Parkour surely should be able to make that move back on him, as CPI Mateos now still stuck behind the Mercedes of Doug, but Doug wouldn't have the DRS going into turn 1, and that's the opportunity that the McLaren is looking for. And here we go now. Parkour 2/10 behind the Alfa Romeo, and surely we'll get the move done, but Destroyer Track also trying to get a move done on the other Alfa Romeo in front, switches to the inside, and surely he's going to be ahead going into turn 1, and switches back into the race line, and he has taken the lead now, as Parkour has also gotten the other Alfa Romeo heading down into turn 1. CPI Mateos finally has gotten past the Mercedes of Doug and put himself in P6, and is looking to head to the front. Stickman and Prez side by side now. Stickman getting ahead of the Mercedes, and a lot of overtakes in one lap there, and that is Monza for you, and more to come. As back to the front now, Shadow 2/3 behind Destroyer Drag, and surely can make that move, but almost goes deep there, almost goes to the back of Destroyer, and he's gonna have the DRS. Is he gonna be close enough? He's gonna be gaining on him, as Mr. P now looking like he was racing with Viva there. It looks like he made a slight bit of a mistake, but he's still in that DRS zone of Parkour, who doesn't have the DRS on Shadow in front. So she's a sitting duck down the straight, heading to the Parabolica, and also heading into turn 1, as Shadow now 4/10 behind Destroyer Drag, and will be looking for the move to take back the lead. These drivers are just using the DRS to aid themselves to pull away from the rest of their competitors, as Shadow is going to get the move done on Destroyer Drag. He's not going to fight it high, Destroyer. He's just going to let Shadow get the move done and put himself in P1. There's no need to fight it hard. Parkour is closing now 3.9 seconds behind them, as Viva now is going to have that DRS on Mr. P, but can't get. Mr. P is actually out of the race. He is currently out of the race, or is he? Confusing stuff going on there, as Prez and Stickman switching, as they have been doing, also trying to get themselves closer to the pack, as they are 8 seconds behind the pack now, and that is not where they want to be, as Shadow is out of the session. One Alfa Romeo out of the session. Hopefully the other Alfa Romeo does not follow suit, as Shadow, just like in Mexico, has gone out going straight into a wall. I don't know what happened there. I don't know if it was contact between the leaders or Shadow making a mistake. Hopefully it wasn't contact. Yeah, we'll see. That's very unlucky for the Alfa Romeo. Was having a good race here. I was looking like one of the race winner contenders. Our pole sitter is now out of the race. Destroyer Drag is going to lead the race. It is a virtual safety car, not a full safety car, so the pack wouldn't bunch up, but they will be slowed down for a while. So the virtual safety car has come in, who now will take the opportunity to go into the pit for hard tires. As Parkour, is she going to the pit? No, she's not. Destroyer doesn't go. Mr. P is going to stay out for sure on those hard tires, and Viva, the last driver on the medium tire, deciding to go into the pits, the Alpine driver. That is the strategy that he has decided to go for, as CPI Mateos now up to P4. Murk and Doug fighting at the back, as Murk gets ahead of the Mercedes right behind CPI Mateos. Murk now clawing back after the mistake right at the start, as now here we go. Stickman getting ahead of Prez. These two still squabbling at the back, but they are using their DRS to get closer to Doug in front, who is now 7 seconds about the 8 that he was a few laps before, as Murk now 5/10 behind CPI Mateos. He knows CPI Mateos does have that pace to catch the drivers in front, so all he has to do is follow the McLaren driver around the track to try and catch Mr. P, who's 1.5 seconds ahead of CPI. So the championship fight has resumed again, as Murk has caught up to the Alfa Romeo driver. Parkour showing a lot of pace here, 3.5 seconds behind Destroyer Drag. In just a few laps, she just might be right behind the rear wing of that AlphaTauri in front, and the quick moving Haas driver has a point to prove here, as Mr. P, 5.9 seconds behind her, is not going to have that DRS, as CP and Mateos clawing and getting closer and closer to Mr. P. Murk 3/10 behind CP and Mateos. Will he decide to go for the move on the McLaren here, knowing that he's not going to have the DRS assistance when they get to the line? As here you go now, he's using that ERS. He's going to be gaining on CP and Mateos, but is he going to be enough? Is he going to gain enough to get on the inside of the McLaren? The McLaren tries to defend it, but Murk not close enough. Is going to just stay behind the McLaren. But now CP and Mateos has gotten into that DRS zone of the Alfa Romeo in front, and Paco now 2.9 seconds behind Destroyer Drag, pushing very hard. The Haas driver, looking for a win here today, has improved throughout the season and is now showing the ability that she has under her belt, as she's gaining on Destroyer Drag in front. CPI Mateos 8/10 now behind Mr. Poem. Is he going to go for that DRS? He's under pressure from Mr. Poem championship contender, as CPI Mateos in a championship contender sandwich here, and now Murk is going to have that DRS, but he's going to hold it back. He's not going to use the ERS because he knows that CPI has the DRS to defend from him, and that will just be a waste of ERS when Mr. P, we all know that Mr. P is a sitting duck as we speak. Will two drivers be making the move on him, or can he defend from one of them, who will be most importantly his championship contender? CPI Mateos surely will be going for the move here. He's low on that ERS. Mr. P does have the ERS to defend from him, but does he know that? Does Mr. P know that? Trying to go to each other, trying to cut the slipstream from the McLaren driver, as Murk also behind the McLaren. Here we go now, three of them heading down to turn one, and who is going to get the move done? CPI gaining on Mr. P, but can't get that move. Mr. P slightly defending it, as Murk, what happened to Murk? Oh, he makes a mistake. 5-second penalty for Murk going into turn one, and that is surely what he doesn't need right now. He's right behind Mr. P because CPI has made the move. Was that an incident between Murk and Mr. P? No, definitely not. CPI has made the move on Mr. P and put himself in P3. Confusing stuff going on there, but Dog now has gotten ahead of Murk. That 5-second penalty was not what he needs at all. That's a little bit squirrely there. That's not what we need at all. He got back up to Mr. Poems. He tried to make a move, but it was just too much for Murk. But we'll see if he can recover that. We're back to the front now. Destroyer Drag doing a good job to make sure Paco stays in that 2.8 buffer, because he just does not want that Haas driver bearing down on him in that DRS. But surely she could be able to make the move, as Viva now, who has gone onto the soft tires, is gaining on Prez, and will surely want to be making a move here, because those soft tires will be wearing out later as the race goes on. So he want to be a fast moving Alpine and get all his moves that he can get done right now, as Murk now gaining on the Mercedes, switching on to the inside and putting himself back up to P5, just 9/10 behind Mr. P now. But with that 5-second penalty, it's going to matter later in the race. But we'll see where that matters. It might be a safety car, and that just might be the lock that Murk is looking for. But here we go now. Viva now has gotten ahead of Perez using that DRS. And the Alpine now going into turn one, put himself in P8. Next target is going to be his teammate, 5 seconds ahead on the road, as Dog now 7/10 behind Murk. Can he get that move done on the Aston Martin, the championship contender? So here we go now. They're going to battle it out, as Murk a little bit squarely again there. He's struggling here in Monza, and hopefully doesn't make another mistake that will compromise his race even more. Heading down to Ascari, not close enough to get that move done on him. Well, here we go now as he head down to the Parabolica. Will he have enough slipstream to get the move down? Here we go, Coffee down the inside of Angry Badger. Coffee Grande we go, and he's ahead of Angry Badger going into the chicane, and he has put himself in P10. Coffee, I believe, might have made a mistake and dropped to the back, or he was one of the drivers who actually went into the pit right at the start. But Murk now is going to switch to the left side. He's going to switch to the outside, and he's going to get that place taken away from Mr. P, and he's going to put himself in P4. He does have the 5-second penalty. Mr. P knows that, but he goes deep again is the first corner conundrum for the Aston Martin driver, and this is not what he needs here. Another mistake from Murk, and he goes deep. He allows Mr. P and Doug in the Mercedes to get past him, as Doug now is putting pressure on the Alfa Romeo driver. And can he get that move done? Back to the front though, Parkour 1.4 seconds now behind Destroyer Track, and she's putting it on. She's putting on a show here, and very close to Destroyer Track, almost getting into that DRS, and surely will be making a move when she gets that DRS, as Doug now has the DRS on Mr. P. Is he going to hold it back, or is he going into get the move down into Ascari? No, he's going to hold it back. He believes he can try going into turn 1 as they head to the parabolic, and now he will need to get this right to make sure Mr. P doesn't pull too far away, as Murk now is recovering after his mistake going down to turn 1. Doug, here we go now. He's going to have that DRS going into the parabolica, close enough to the Alfa Romeo in that 1 second buffer. And here we go down to turn 1, activating his ERS and gaining on the Alfa Romeo. He's going to have that DRS, but can he get the move done on the championship contender and protagonist? He's gaining. He's going to switch to the right. They are side by side going into turn 1. Doug diving down the inside, as Mr. Doug down the inside gets the move done on the Alfa Romeo, who has to concede that place to the Mercedes driver, who's going to be pulling away now, as Viva now has gotten his teammates 4 laps after being 5 seconds behind 4 laps ago. 4 laps later, he is now ahead of the Stickman in P7, and his next target is Murk, but he is 15 seconds up the road, so that's going to be a very difficult target for Viva to get right now. Mr. P though, 4 tenths behind Doug, with his championship contender right behind him. This is not what he will need right now. He will need to be right ahead of Doug, so Murk does not fight with him right now or get ahead of him in this race, as he's going to have the DRS. He has enough ERS to surely make the move on the Mercedes now, heading into Ascari, close enough, have tucked it into that slipstream. Murk is going to join the fight here. Is he going to decide to make the move on Mr. P going to Parabolica, or is he going to hold it back, as it's going to be turn 1 shenanigans, as CPI Mateos has made a mistake. He is on track. Hopefully he doesn't go back on track recklessly, but here we go. He's made a mistake now, dropped down to P6. Back to Doug and Mr. P, fighting it from Mr. P, gaining on him, switching to the right, and surely will be ahead of him going to turn 1. But will Murk also go for that move down in the inside on Doug? Side by side they go now. The Aston Martin, can Doug fight around the outside? No, he can't, as Murk has put himself ahead of Doug, but Doug is going to get the switch back. They're going to be side by side. Doug heading down to the cover ground. There we go, down to the chicane, side by side they go. He's low on that ERS. Does he have the better straight line speed than Murk to be ahead? No, he doesn't, as Murk is going to be ahead going into the chicane, as Mr. P is now in P3. But Picardo 5 tenths behind Destroyer Track, and now she finally has that DRS to make the move on the AlphaTauri driver. She is pumping those laps and we're going very, very quick. A very fast moving Haas today, as 2 times behind Destroyer Track. Are they going to be playing the DRS game here, as we see who's going to get the DRS? It's going to surely be Parkour, as she was behind going into the DRS line. And there we go now. Surely she's going to be ahead, as she slightly pushes Destroyer Track wide, and she has taken the lead. She doesn't need DRS, and going down to turn 1, she's going to have to defend it. Destroyer Track is going to be behind, but he doesn't have that DRS, and she's going to lead this race. Parkour in the house now has the opportunity to pull away and take the win here, with one stop between them that they have to do. Maybe going on the hards, maybe going on the mediums, depending on what they decide to do, as Murk now 3 tenths behind Mr. P can't make that move, just sticking behind, and Doug is also going to stay behind. It's now a 4-way battle, as after Mateos made that mistake, he has joined this battle for P3. It's a very intense championship fight here, as Murk and Mr. P in precarious positions. Mr. P probably in the better position right now, because Murk does have that penalty looming on his head, and the question of, is he going to make a mistake again here in Monza, as he has made a few, and hopefully not. Hopefully he's just going to go clean to the end and fight Mr. Poem hard. He's going to have that DRS, and he's going to slightly use the DRS to gain on Mr. P, make sure that he is close enough. when they get down to turn 1. Wants to make sure that Mr. P doesn't take the opportunity, but CPI Mateos now has gotten ahead of Doug, and now he's going to have to use the opportunity to try and get close to Murk. He's not going to have that DRS. Doug is though, and will Doug make the move on the McLaren? He's setting it up, he's dominating the McLaren, but back to the front now as Murk is 2/10 behind Mr. P. Can he get that move done? He's using that ERS. Yes, he's going to have the DRS, and he's going to have the advantage. He's going to switch to the inside. They are side by side now, the championship contender, as Murk now puts himself in P3. Doug also fighting with CPI at the back, switching to the outside, but CPI is going to defend it on the inside. Good defense from the McLaren driver to keep the Mercedes behind, and now he will need to get up in the 1 second buffer right behind that Alfa Romeo in front to make sure that he has that DRS to defend from the fast moving Doug. A Doug who's doing a good job racing these very, very quick drivers in front. And we'll see how he does. At 6/10 now, Mr. P right behind Murk. Murk wants to try and pull away from Mr. P here. He did get a faster lap than Mr. P in qualifying, but they are still very, very close. They show that they have basically the same amount of pace here in Monza, but who is going to get a bit of luck? Who is going to be on the right strategy to get to win here today? Right strategy is looking like Mr. P's way, and luck, the man who would need luck, will surely be Murk, with that 5-second penalty looming over him. With 9/10 now, Doug losing that time to CPI Mateos in front, and he's not going to have that DRS to worry the McLaren, or is he? As Pacon now has gone into the pits, and she decided it is time to go into the pits for the hard tires, I believe. The hard tires, yes it is. And we'll see if she will be ahead of Destroyer Drag. She's going to have that undercut, which is very, very strong here in this game. So we'll see if she will be ahead of Destroyer Drag, as CPI Mateos now not close enough to Mr. P yet to get into the DRS, but Doug is doing well to keep up with CPI with Mr. P 8/10 behind Murk, and Murk is gaining up to Destroyer Drag. He was 15 seconds behind Destroyer Drag when he was squabbling with Paco, but that's going to be very difficult for Murk to be thinking of. What he's actually thinking of right now is beating the driver who is right behind him, as Prez now 5/10 behind Stickman. Can't get the move done on him, but he's going to have a compromised exit coming out of turn 1, and he's now going to be 2 seconds behind Stickman, and surely can't get that move done now, as Paco, as Viva trying to get back up to the pack on his soft tires. And when will he be going in for the last change of tires for him? Will it be the mediums, or will it be the hard tires, or will it be another pair of soft tires for the Alpine driver? As Mr. P now 8/10 behind Murk, surely doesn't want to lose that DRS to the Aston Martin in front. He knows he has that 5-second penalty, and surely he'll be hoping that safety car does not come out. Because if the safety car doesn't come out, Mr. P surely will be your champion here today, as he has gone into the pits now. And what is he going to pick? What is he going to decide to do? CPI Mercedes follows him into the pits, and Murk surely will be going into the pits now, because staying out on those hard tires will be losing him too much time that he does not currently afford, can't currently afford, as Mr. P and CPI Mateos on medium tires that they surely will be going to the end on, as Viva has gotten ahead of them but has one more stop to go in this race. Perez doing a good job to get back closer to Stickman after making the mistake and going about 2.2 seconds behind him. He's getting closer to him now, and we'll see if he can get back into that DRS zone. And CPI Mateos 1 second behind Mr. P. He's going to want to stay in that DRS, using this DRS to gain on Mr. P in front. Make sure he does have the DRS when they do start to battle. Slightly locking up there. Hear his brakes. And here we go. Pacon now. Will she be ahead of Destroyer Jack when he does decide to go into the pits? Because he's still out as we speak. He's going for the longer strategy right behind Angry Badger, and he will be able to lap the Aston Martin driver when very soon, as 3/10 now, CPI Mateos right behind the Alfa Romeo of Mr. P, and surely will be using that DRS to get ahead of the Alfa Romeo. Will not be needing this at all, as Murk now is still ahead, has decided to go longer on those hard tires, hoping and praying for a safety car that might not come, but we'll see how that goes for him. Might just be going for the softs right at the end. Here we go now. Doug right behind Murk. 2 seconds behind Murk actually, as CP and Mateo still not fast enough to get ahead of the Alfa Romeo. He's doing a good job to keep CPI behind. But Destroyer Drag is who we are looking at now, because he will need to come into the pits very soon. And when will that be? Will Parkour have a big advantage on him when he does come, when she does come to close enough to Destroyer Drag, and when Destroyer Drag does go into the pits? Is he going to be on this lap that the leader of the race decides to go into the pits? What is the strategy that he is going for? He's low on that ERS, so sure he doesn't have the pace to be going for another lap. And yes, he is going into the pits now. And the question is, will Parkour be ahead? Surely she will be ahead, because she's already at the parabolic car when he just went into the pits. And she's also going to have the DRS assistant to get ahead. Mr. P now 2/10 right behind Viva. And will he be able to get ahead of Viva going into turn 1? Destroyer Drag and Parkour, as Parkour now has secured the provisional lead of this race. Destroyer Drag just getting out of the pits, as Parkour now right behind Doug. Can't get the move done on Doug. He's going to stick behind and try and get it done in the next DRS zone. Viva though has gotten, Mr. P has gotten ahead of Viva, as CP and Mateos is going to switch into the inside and going into on the move. Side by side they go. CP and Mateos has put himself in P6. Beautiful move by Mateos. Beautiful way to place his car in between those two, not making contact, as he puts himself in P6. And Mr. Poem is going to be his next target now. Prezi Prez and Stickman still squabbling at the back, as they're having their own battle at the back, as Prezi Prez has finally got ahead of the Alpine driver, as Dog now doing a very good job in front, 6/10 behind Parkour. And when will he decide it's time to go into the pit? Destroyer Drag though went on those soft tires. He's 6 seconds behind Parkour. Will he be able to pull down that time? Will he be able to gain on Parkour and win this race here on those soft tires? We'll see how that goes. When will Murk decide to go into the pit? 18 laps he's done on these tires. He does have that 5-second penalty, but will he be going for the soft tires, as Doug has finally gone into the pit after 17 laps on those tires? As CPI Mateos now and Mr. Perm still squabbling, using that DRS to try and pull themselves closer to the front. But here we go now. CPI Mateos is going to get that DRS, and he's going to use the DRS. He's going to be gaining on the Alfa Romeo driver, and surely going on the inside, he is going to put his car ahead of the Alfa Romeo going into turn 1, as Viva now is ahead of Dog, who has just gone into the pit. When is Viva going to go into the pits for his final stop of the race? He's done 13 laps on those softs. Very, very long time to do on the softs, and he's pulling it off. We'll see how that goes for him, as Destroyer Drag still 6 seconds behind Parkour, and will need to be gaining quicker than this if he wants to win this race here. And this will surely be the lap that Murk will be coming into the pits. I don't believe he can hold on. I don't believe he shouldn't be able to hold on. He will need to go into the pits, because he hasn't gone into the pits. And when he does go into the pits, he's going to lose a lot of time, because those hard tires, old hard tires, are really, really slow at this point in the race. And his championship contender, Mr. P, is in P5 and already out of Ascari, and it's going to have that DRS assistance to get ahead of CPI Mateos. When will he get the move done? Is he going to hold it back here, or is he going to be aggressive and get the move done on the McLaren? As here we go now, activating his DRS, and DRS accelerated, and he's gaining on the McLaren. The McLaren is not going to defend it. He's going to stick down in the slipstream, gaining down to turn 1. McLaren switching to the right side, late down the straight, and almost going into Mr. P there, who had to stamp on the brakes. But CPI Mateos is going to stay in front of Mr. P. And we go now. Dog now 4/10 going around the outside of, trying to go around the outside of Murk, but Murk is going to go into P6 and now has taken off that 5-second penalty, and his contender is about 10 seconds up the road. So it's going to be a very, very difficult task for Murk now to catch Mr. P. Will be hoping and praying for a safety car or a mistake from the Alfa Romeo in front, who is squabbling in front with CPI Mateos. And if he crosses the line like this, he is going to be your champion in the Inter tier. As Parkour now doing well to keep that fast moving AlphaTauri on those soft tires far enough. 4 seconds now. He has cut 2 seconds. It was 6.6 seconds by a few laps ago behind Parkour, and now with 5 laps to go, 6 laps to go, can destroy a drag, catch the race leader, and get your win here today. She has been very rapid today, so it will be a very, very difficult task for him. Here we go now. Doug, 2 tenths behind Murk, can't make that move done, but Mr. P now is trying to get the move on CPI Mateos. He's going to hold it back. He's not going to use that ERS. CPI can't defend it and keep his place in P3, as Murk now has in P5 has gotten ahead of Viva, who has finally gone into the pit, as Doug now doing very well to run on those drivers in front. He is on those soft tires, better tires than Murk in front, but Murk now 11 seconds behind Mr. P, and it's looking like the championship is falling out of his hands. That 5-second penalty didn't do him no help whatsoever after making the mistake going into turn 1. But we'll see what happened. We'll see if it was an incident actually. But retired now, Angry Badger, and that's a safety car. And that is what Murk needed. With 5 laps to go, when the safety car does decide to come, 5 or 4 laps to go, Murk is going to have the opportunity now to fight with Mr. P. 13 seconds that he was behind Mr. P go with 6 laps to go in the race. And it's on now. The last few laps of the race. Who is going to be your champion here? As the pack is going to bunch up. Parkour deciding to go into the pit. Destroyer going into the pit. Everybody surely will be going to the pit for soft tires. What is CPI deciding to do? Pit stop for him. Pit stop for Mr. P. And surely will also be a pit stop from Murk, who will be the happiest man on track as we speak, because the safety car has come out. His teammate though, it was his teammate that DNF'd. Ooh, interesting stuff there, but surely it's not any conspiracy. It's just his teammate making a mistake and going for the DNF. We're giving his opportunity to Murk now to go on those soft tires and attack Mr. P, who will be right in front of him. Viva though, a driver who went into the pit when the safety car wasn't in, is going to lose badly, but the pack is bunched up, so he'll still be able to race the drivers in front. Coffee surely should be going into the pits for those soft tires, because hard tires are not going to squabble with nobody on track, as Viva decides to also go into the pits for new soft tires. Interesting from the Alpine driver. I would expect him to keep going, but he's not going to make any more places, so it does kind of make sense. You want the tires to be on the same level as the drivers around you, not slightly worse, because in this sport of fine margins, it does matter. This is what Murk needs right now. Mr. P would not be happy seeing a safety car look in a race that was looking like he was going to grab the championship. But now they are going to be side by side again. And this right here is what makes or breaks championship. With a few laps to go after a long season, it's basically a 5-lapper championship. Whoever wins the 5-lapper race is going to win the championship. And this is where you see the character of the driver. This is where you see the personality. This is where you see the moves that they will make that they surely wouldn't make other times in a race. It's surely going to be spicy at the end. Very, very spicy. It's where you're going to see the real personality. Are these drivers going to be as clean as they were all season? They haven't come together. They've been very interesting to watch. Back in Japan, where they both went into the pits with a few laps to go and fought to the end. Mr. P came on with that win. In Singapore, a very good race where Murk did finish ahead of Mr. P, a race that he needed to finish ahead of Mr. P in this fight. They've been going at it all season, nice and clean, same amount of race wins and same level on points. But as we speak, Mr. P is your champion. If the race does finish like this, Murk will need to finish in front. Whoever finishes in front of the other wins it all. But if Mr. P did end up getting that fastest lap in qualifying, that would have been very, very key for Mr. P to get that fastest lap in qualifying. But he does have the opportunity to get the fastest lap here in the race. They're all going to be bunched up, so it's going to be quite difficult to push for a fastest lap. But they're all on the soft tires. Which driver here is going to get that extra point? Is the championship contender going to get the extra point, or is it going to be another driver on track? As the safety car surely should be coming into the pits now. But we're actually waiting for Stickman, who hasn't gotten to Ascari yet. Safety car will be waiting for him, I believe. Yep, it's going to be waiting for him. And when he crosses the line, it's going to start lap 24. So we're going to start the race on lap 25. We're going to have only 3 laps of racing. The last lap is going to be the only lap with the DRS. And that is when Murk can try and go for the move. Or is he not going to need the DRS? And he's going to go on it right at the resumption of the race. They all have the same wear on their tires. Murk, the driver who got a 5-second penalty at the halfway stage in this race, was looking like he had thrown the championship away to Mr. P after being 11 seconds behind before the safety car came out. Will be a very happy driver here. But Mr. P, a driver who was looking like he was going to get pole position and fell off slightly starting in P3, had a good start to the race, and seeing his championship contender in unfortunate circumstances, thought he had the championship in both hands. But it's Formula 1, as Murk slightly lagging, it looked like he was going into the wall. But it is Formula 1, and that's what it's about. It's never over till it's actually over. And surely now the safety car will be coming in, and we will be having 3 laps of racing. Just 3 more laps to decide your champion here. With CPI Mateos, Destroyer Jack, and Parkour on the podium, they're the 3 drivers who are going to knock off our championship contenders from that podium. And here we go now. The safety car in this lap. Probably we'll see. There might be DRS. 25, 26 on lap 27. There will be DRS just in Ascari. So to be the only place that move can be done, Murk will have to be very close to Mr. P if he wants to get that move done. But here we go, the drivers heating up their tires. When is Parkour going to go? She's going to be the deserved winner for sure if she does cross the line first. She's had a very good race here. After just making a mistake in Ascari in qualifying, we failed the pole position for her, but will she fail the win here? As she goes now, the race has resumed, and here we go with 3 laps to go. Who is going to be your winner here? Who is going to grab the championship in the inter-tier? Parkour now, Destroyer Track gaining on her, but is not going to make the move, as Mr. P and Murk still wave side by side now, press with the Haas. The Haas making contact with Dog in front and getting a 3-second penalty for going deep, and hopefully doesn't compromise anybody else, especially the championship contenders. But here we go now. CPI Mateos is 4/10 behind Destroyer Drag. Also will be looking for that move, looking for that win, looking for that last to first that he did in Abu Dhabi. Can he do it again here in Monza? As Murk now, no pressure behind him. Dog 1.6 seconds behind Murk. So all he needs to do is set up the move on his championship contender in front. We're going to have the DRS on the final lap of the race, but only for 1 DRS zone. As 3/10 now, CPI Mateos right behind Destroyer Drag. Destroyer Drag will not be looking to use the DRS. He just needs a better exit coming out of Ascari. As here we go now, CPI Mateos though had the better exit than him, trying to make the move, switching to the left side, but Destroyer Drag is going to defend it and he can't get that move done, can't get ahead of the AlphaTauri driver. And who is going to get the move done first? As Viva now on those medium tires, it's going to be very difficult for him to make a move on soft tires in front. CPI Mateos though 2/10 behind Destroyer, but Destroyer is showing a lot of straight line speed, switching to the right side, going on the inside on Paco. Paco is trying to hold it around the outside. They're side by side now. They're not making any contact. Beautiful racing here. To the coffee ground, there we go. Mr. P is also going to try and get the opportunity to try and get the move on CPI Mateos as his championship contender. He's putting pressure behind him. He will want to get ahead of the McLaren. He will want to make one car buffer from him and Murk as Destroyer Jack going around the outside of Paco, who is defending and has now dropped to P2 as CPI Mateos is going to join this fight now and is trying to get ahead of the two in front who have been squabbling all race and are looking like they do not want to lose that 1-2 that they currently have, as Paco now trying to go on the outside. Destroyer Jack showing a lot of straight line speed down to Ascari now as they are going to be heading to the final lap of this race, the final opportunity for Mr. P or Murk to be your champion here in the inter-tier. CPI Mateos, is he going to go for a move on Paco, going on the inside? As you can see, Destroyer Track in front, low on that ERS. They are side by side now. Destroyer Track will be looking for this opportunity now to pull away as they squabble at the back. But no, CPI Mateos from the back now is going to be going for the move. Mark is also going to be trying to go for the move on Mr. P, switching to the left side. Oh my god, yeah. 5 cars going into turn 1. Murk can't get ahead of Mr. P. He was trying to, but Destroyer Jack has taken the lead now. Side by side, Destroyer Jack and Paco go as Mateos is going to pull away as Paco now has lost it, as Murk now going round the outside of Paco, and on the cover ground there we go, round the outside of Mr. P, going down to the chicane now. Who is going to be ahead? It's going to be late on the brakes. The AlphaTauri blocking Mr. P. Down the inside, Murk goes, but he can't get that move done. Mr. P sticking it round the outside with a few corners to go. CPI Mateos surely is going to be a winner here. But Mr. P now and Murk, one more opportunity for the Aston Martin. He's going to use it all, activating that ERS, and TRX accelerated, going to be gaining, not close enough. But Mr. P going to make the move on Destroyer Jack. No, he's not. He's going to hold it back, and it's going to be one more opportunity from Murk now, heading down to the Parabolica, and there we go now. Who has the straight line speed? He's going to talk about the slipstream of Destroyer Track. He's going to try and go down the inside, but Mr. P goes switching around the outside, trying to get around the outside. Does he have the grip? Does he have the traction to do it? No, he doesn't. Mr. P is going to finish in front, and when they cross the line, who is going to be a champion? It's going to be Mr. P, just 600ths of a second ahead of Murk, and your champion in the inter-tier is going to be UFRL Mr. Prem. They fought it right to the end, and just by 600ths of a second, he takes the championship, and he finishes in P2 on the podium. They both finish on the podium, and what a race that has been. And there you go, the second championship of the season. Murk gave it a good fight. He fought right to the end. He did not give up. And he couldn't get that move done on Mr. P. Round Parabolica, around the outside. He didn't have the grip. And he couldn't get that move done. As CPI Mateos last to first, again for the McLaren driver. But it's going to be accompanied by the championship protagonist and the championship winner of Mr. P, who wins in front of the Tifosi, the Italian outfit of the Alfa Romeo. It's going to be a very, very happy team today, as they fought for a very, very tough and a long championship. And there you go. That's the end. And that's the story. Mr. P, congratulations to him as he wins it all. Very, very tough fight. Starting in P4, Murk starting in P3. Very, very equal fights. Congratulations to him. That's the second title for him, and also a very, very top job from Murk. Very good fight all season. Mateos does it again from last to first. And Destroyer Jack and Paco, the two drivers that were fighting at the front all race, finishing P4 and P5. Very unlucky for them, as those three drivers in front went at it, were not holding back, and not at all. As Dog finishes P6, a very, very good race for Dog. Probably which will be on the driver of the day list. Viva in P7, Coffee is going to finish in P8. Stickman in P9, Prezi in P10. Angry Badger P11. And Shadow is going to round up your grade, as Angry Badger and Shadow did DNF from the race. Thank you guys for tuning in. That was a very, very, very good race. Very good way to end the championship in Monza. The magic of Monza. As Mr. P wins here. That was intense. That was absolutely intense. All right. Just gonna raid. Thank you guys for tuning in for our championship fight. That's the last race of the season. We're gonna have the long season. Hopefully, we'll get everybody back for the long season. We thank you guys for racing with us. We thank you guys for watching us all season. It's been a very electric season with new champions all around and very, very good fights from Tier 1. Congratulations to Mr. P. Tier 2 first wins the championship over there. It's just top stuff. As Murk gets in 100% tier, Mr. P's second title of the season. It's been a very, very interesting fight all season in all the tiers, and also in tier 3 with Bulldog and the rest of them. Congratulations, everybody. Thank you guys for tuning in. I have been Willie Fernandez. We have been UFRL. Goodbye.